Reveal a natural, radiant glow with Tizo Tinted Moisturizing Serum. With skin-loving ingredients like hyaluronic acid, glycerin, and ceramides, this serum delivers long-lasting hydration, leaving skin feeling nourished and refreshed. 5 luminous shades provide a radiant hint of buildable color with a glowing, sheer finish that enhances your tone and texture. Gentle, all-mineral SPF 30 and antioxidants protect against UV and environmental damage. Experience skincare that hydrates, protects, and perfects with Tizo's Tinted Moisturizing Serum. Visit tizoskin.com for details. Are you interested in providing results-driven treatment services? Join a team of like-minded individuals who share your passion and support your success. With more than 1,000 franchised locations in 49 states, Massage Envy is not only the nation's #1 provider of massage services collectively across its franchise network, but also a national leader in skincare. Start or grow your career at a Massage Envy franchised location. Visit massageenvy.com/SDcareers for full details.
Hello and welcome to ASCP's Esty Talk. I'm your co-host, Maggie Staszcuk, and ASCP's Program Director.
I'm Ella Cressman, licensed esthetician and content contributor for Associated Skincare Professionals.
Ella, I'm kind of excited for this topic and I want to share a little news edition later. But first, today we're diving into something that doesn't always get enough attention in the beauty industry, financial literacy. So from managing money behind the treatment room to building long-term stability, we're talking real talk about budgeting, pricing, and everything in between. So why do you think money is such an uncomfortable topic for so many estheticians?
I think for estheticians specifically, when it comes to finance, it's not in the forefront of our mind except for how much do I charge?
Oh, yeah. I think you're right. Also, my perspective is, we are artists, we're healers, we are a creative, if you will. We're not necessarily that business major.
Yeah, nurturers, not necessarily the practical part. The practical part sits in the background for a lot of us, not for all of us, but for a lot of us. And I think there is a lot of more psychology tied into that as well. But I think that's probably the #1 reason.
Yeah. And our passion often outweighs financial planning, at least in the early stages of our business, I think. And avoiding financial talk doesn't make our financial problems go away. It usually makes them worse.
It's so funny because I feel like this is something not unique to a few people, but I feel like this might be a common sentiment. I want to start my business. I'm going to go on and get the most beautiful, most trendy thing possible. And I've got all these things and now I'm ready to start my business. But you're not thinking about a plan to acquire said things or ways to strategically bring them in once you have X amount of money. That's the strategy portion isn't always at the very beginning, unless you're using, like maybe SBA or something like that. But definitely not a first thought because we just want to get in there. To your point, we want to be healing. We want to be nurturing. We want to get there already. So whatever it takes to start.
Yeah, I think you're right. We're so excited and we're putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah, 100%.
What was one financial lesson you learned the hard way?
Oh my gosh. You want to hear what I did wrong? First of all, I didn't have a plan. And know that I have a business degree. So that sucked. It was like same thing. I wanted so badly to get out of the career I was in that I'm like, I did that. I got my things. I took out a loan for my back bar. I picked the product for my back bar that the salon I was renting a room in carried for retail because that was the arrangement. Like, oh, this is going to be great. I didn't do research. I bought a bunch of back bar and then I bought a machine that I didn't really need also at the time. And I bought the wrong kind of marketing. The things that were important to me were my business cards, didn't have the right plan to how to get out there. I did it wrong. I did it backwards. So that's one financial mistake I made. And because I financed all of that at the beginning, and I didn't need that. I didn't need all of the back bar that I had. I paid for it triple by the time it was all said and done. So I think if I could go in and do it a little different, I would start niche and then build out my services. I did the opposite. I started with like just a net of I'm going to do everything I possibly can, because if I can do everything, I can get anyone, that mindset.
I do. Yeah.
And instead I was just getting crumbs. Where when I started to refine, once I started to realize what was going to make me money in the demographic I was in the city that I was in, and the surrounding that I was in, that's when it started to really take off for me.
You know what's one lesson that I learned the hard way? I never counted my tips. I didn't even account for my tips, if you will. I thought, oh my God, I've got all this cash in my pocket, and I would go and spend it every week, go to the coffee shop, go and get pedicures. I never thought this is part of my income, or perhaps I need to be filing this as part of my taxes. And then my now husband at the time is saying to me, where's your tips? How much money did you make? We're going to go and file your taxes, all the things. And I'm like, what tips?
I still say that. Just kidding. If you're the IRS and you're listening, I don't get tips.
Yeah. What do you mean? You see my pretty toes? The tip's gone, man.
French tips on my fingers. No, true. That's funny.
So according to a recent study, 60% of beauty pros report anxiety around money. Do you feel like that applied to you when you were first starting out?
I'm surprised it's not 100.
Could be. Yeah.
I had to take out a loan to pay out, I had to take out a different loan to pay off the loans that I started out with, just to kind of consolidate. And then that's a ding. I mean, mind you, I was in my early 30s at the time. So it's since resolved my financial reputation. But I'm surprised it's not 100% of people have this. We don't have this guaranteed income. It's not for sure. There are so many things that affect our livelihood. Like the consumer confidence is really big. So whenever consumer confidence slows, we feel that ripple effect. And then also cost of goods. That is changed significantly over the last 6 years, 10 years, 15 years, of course. But whenever those fluctuations, it changes our livelihood. We're someone who has a job, let's just say a corporate job. You show up, you have the confidence that you're going to get paid X amount at X interval, and you have health insurance, and you have benefits, and you probably have a 401k match, or there's a good likelihood of that. And as a solopreneur or someone who doesn't have that same experience, we have to do all of that. So we have to almost become the expert in those things. What I've learned over the tenure of my career is I've had to be my own HR. I've had to be my own wealth management as far as Roth IRA, 401ks, rolling over from previous jobs and such. I've had to be my own advocate. I have to understand health insurance. Where do I buy it from? How do I get it? Dental. I've had to do all of those things that is so far removed from a chemical peel. And that sucks. Oh, now, thanks to your challenge, social media too. You loop all of those things in, and we have to become experts in all of those types of situations to at least know enough to make a decision instead of just assuming that's done for us. So we come back to, how much do I charge for this treatment that I'm going to do? We have to think of those things and roll those components into it. And it's a lot, and it's overwhelming, and it's scary when we don't know. We know kind of what our fixed bills are, but we don't know what our fixed income may be.
I think that is very well said. And it's a lot that the esthetician does not consider, as well as even the consumer. And I think just the factor of you are playing all these roles, and there's a lot that goes into it, not just your time, but that needs to be factored into then also your prices. And you covered a lot of things, but even just the basics like saving and budgeting and all of that is, of course, then setting your prices strategically. If you are not even just the smallest amount skilled in all those things, it's hard to then grow your business.
Very hard. Yeah. So it's the budget thing for me came later, and it came from this nail biting. I was sick of the nail biting of like, am I going to have enough in my account? So I put my head down. I just served, just did all of these treatments, and I didn't buy the extra things until this was my gauge. My bank account had a threshold in it. Not knowing what the transactions were, I still wasn't going to take a peek because I'm also my own accountant. Again, I have a business degree. My previous life, I was in accounting and I did payroll. I did all of these things in a previous life, and I'm intimidated by it. Accounts payable, accounts receivable. So I didn't know the details of what was going on. I turned off to that. But as long as I could log in and see that it was above X thousands, like it had to be above X thousands, I'm like, cool. Yeah, I can get my nails done. I can go out to dinner. Or yeah, I can buy this. I can take this work trip, whatever that was. But it was that threshold. Then fast forward to, or let's rewind to a couple of years ago when I broke my leg and I wasn't able to work. And that threshold, I got below that threshold for the first time in like 10 years. That was scary. It took me a long time to have the confidence to get back to that. Like to feel like I could draw from those accounts again. It's not easy. The budgeting was the hardest part.
I think budgeting is a challenge for a lot of people, whether you're in this industry or not. And one thing I think estheticians also don't consider is that there is a slow season in the industry, and you have to factor that into your budget as well.
Okay. Thank you for bringing it up, because here's a shout out. You know, the seasons that we talk about, oh, it's peel season or it's waxing season. Here's a tip. You know what summer season is? Microneedling season. There's 3 treatments recommended, minimum 3. There's 3 months in the summer. By the way, you guys can take it and do whatever you want, but it just came to me recently when I was talking to a client who leads a very active, like a very social, we'll say, lifestyle. And I'm like, great, well, you're the perfect candidate for microneedling over the summer then.
So, Elf Beauty, Elf Cosmetics, they partnered with Chime and launched what's called Fortune Island Earn, Learn, Flex. And it's a financial literacy game on Roblox. I think that's brilliant and crazy all at the same time. So this game is aimed at Gen Z, and it's gamifying saving, budgeting, investing, and it's meant to engage the Gen Z audience and teach them financial literacy.
This is fantastic.
Isn't that so interesting?
This is fantastic on a lot of ways. You know, I do a lot in instructional design, and this is meeting somebody where they are.
Yeah.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah. This is not the first game that Elf has come up with. They had a previous game that was Elf Up, and it had...
I really elfed that up.
Yeah. It had 22 million visits, and the point of this was it did prove beauty brands can educate and inspire, but the point was to empower young entrepreneurs to build their dream business.
Which we see way more of now.
We do. And also in this industry, in the beauty industry, I don't know what the percentage is, but I feel like majority of people entering this industry, they say, I want to go solo. That's the ultimate goal, is that you want to be an entrepreneur.
And then look at what that has spawned also off of this. And we talk a lot of Elf about these different like TikTok shops.
Yeah.
Or influencers that has spawned new sides of this industry, new revenue streams, new entrepreneurial opportunities, if you will.
Yeah.
So I think that mind shift, I wonder, do you think it might have started back with Zuckerberg?
Oh, I don't know.
Like the potential was there?
Yeah.
Like I think to our generation, and we learn, or we may have been conditioned that you go to work for somebody.
Yeah. Okay, that's a really good question, because when I was in the industry, you quote unquote went to work for somebody, but you were a contractor.
Okay.
And I feel like the industry very much has shifted away from that. You are an employee, or you are solo booth renting, owning your own business, you know.
Oh, they will come at you if you're a contractor anymore.
Yeah.
What are you doing? That's illegal. Like I see it all the time on social, and I'm just taking notes like, wow, that's crazy. I had contractors before too, legitimate contractors, but it's shied me away from having that opportunity for people anymore. But I think now this generation that's, these Gen Zs, so on, Gen Alphas, they may have come up in a time where entrepreneurial things weren't as rare as when we did.
Yeah.
It wasn't as common when we were, just think about all industries.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
And now this seems like so many ideas have been sparked by younger people. Lots of really cool things have happened. So when we take that to the beauty industry, I wonder who came up with this Fortune Island idea. Like how old they were. They were probably like, you know what? I just want to play this video game. And so I'm going to learn. I think that's really cool. That's awesome.
This name Fortune Island kills me. But anyway, yeah, totally agree.
Better than Fire Island.
Yeah, you're right. The thing that I hear all the time is like what we wish we learned in aesthetic school or beauty school. And common denominator seems to always be business or financial literacy or something in that vein. And honestly, at least for me, I can say beauty school did not prepare you for money management. Even if you had a course on business development or owning your own business, or even if you had to do a business plan, really you were not prepared for the things that we've just talked about.
Not at all. And like you said, it's a huge bone of contention, if you will. There's more geared to passing state boards.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I think there's a duality to that. Like I think the number one priority is pass state boards, make sure you're holding the public safety in priority. The other part of that is I believe that these curricula were designed before. I think it was designed so long ago and it's just continued before this was a real consideration, before this modern trend of majority being solopreneurs. I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't change in the next couple of years, though.
It could, yeah.
I think they're hearing. I think the schools are hearing. I think the powers that be that write those curricula are hearing that we need to incorporate it somehow because it is statistically so important.
Yes, I agree. What would be your top 3 lessons?
My top 3 lessons would be how to set prices really based on costs and value and demographic. When I was teaching for brands, that was the top question that we would talk about this peel or this different new product. And it's like, how much should I charge for this? And we're talking to people in Montana, Nebraska, Texas, Miami, Los Angeles. That's a totally different answer in all of those. So how do you price it based on your expenses, your area, your value, considering all of these? I recently went through a price increase. It was really hard for me. But anyways, the other one would be to track what you're bringing in and then what you're spending, even if it's just on an Excel spreadsheet, because that gives you real metrics to understand. The next will be budgeting. So saving for slow months, saving for if you break your leg, saving for taxes. And then another thing in that savings is retirement, which is so important. You don't think about it. You think I'll deal with it later. And then later comes and you have to, you need to think about it for a couple reasons. One, it's like our reportable income is a lot less. So your Social Security might be a lot less if it's still around. And otherwise, you don't really want to be working your entire life. You want to be able to enjoy. So prepare for those things.
Yeah. You said this basically earlier. Being an esthetician is more than just the service, the hands-on work. You are a brand, a business. You're the strategist. And so you have to have this mind shift. And I think this applies even if you are an employee. I'm not just working in the business, I'm working on the business.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just open the doors and think the clients will come, right?
Yes, like RuPaul said.
Right.
You better work. It's constant.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go away because you said we have busy seasons of the year, but we also have busy and slow seasons of our career. Like things change. A lot of people are in a slower season of their career. And so how do you get through those? You have to bring that skill set back in. You have to rehang your shingle. I just went through a rebrand myself to try to really re-impassion myself, but then remind the community that I'm here. And that's what works. So you have to keep doing it too. It never stops.
If this feels overwhelming, here's where to start. Open a separate business account, track your income and expenses for 1 month, review your service pricing, not just annually, but even maybe on a quarterly basis. Have a small percent from each check for taxes or emergency fund, and maybe even follow a financial educator or a beauty business coach online. Now, listeners, we want to hear from you. Have you struggled with the money side of aesthetics? What's helped you feel more empowered? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at getconnected@ascpskincare.com. Thanks for listening to ASCP Esty Talk. For more info on this episode or to connect with Ella and myself, check out the show notes.
This podcast is sponsored by LAMPROBE. LAMPROBE is a popular aesthetic tool that enables skincare practitioners to rapidly treat a wide variety of common minor skin irregularities, or MSI. Red MSI treated by LAMPROBE include dilated capillaries and cherry angiomas, yellow MSI, cholesterol deposits and sebaceous hyperplasia, and brown MSI treated include skin tags and more. LAMPROBE MSI treatments are non-invasive and deliver immediate results. LAMPROBE can empower your skin practice with these new and highly in-demand services. For more information, visit lamprobe.com. That's LAMPROBE.com. And follow LAMPROBE on social media @LAMPROBE.